What is going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the 10-7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another quickie. Now, this is a new program. I broke it down last week on the first episode. I'll break it down again. What we're doing is we're giving you fighter A, fighter B, a little bit of info on each, the prediction, and we move on. It's very goddamn fast. A lot of people were telling me, Bam Bam, we don't have time for an hour full card breakdown. We don't even have time for the 35, 40 minutes that you do quick picks. All right, here we go. Here's UFC the Quickie, 10 minutes or less or your money back. Now, before we get into it, two quick things. First and foremost, do your boys a favor, like and subscribe, okay? And I'm going to tell you why you should do that. We are over 70% on the year. We are over 81% in October. And last week, over 92%, guys. We are on absolute fire. We missed one fight on the entire card last week. One fight, and it was that cheater Con Offley grabbing the fence, cheating to get himself a victory. We would have been perfect. By the way, we've done that before. By the way, we're going to do it again. And by the way, we do this for free. We do it for the love of the game, guys. So like and subscribe. We're on an absolute tear. And you can also follow us on Instagram at the107MMA. I always tell people the official picks go up on Instagram at the107MMA on Saturday morning. Yes, I give you these picks. A lot of times things change until fight day, right? We do these early on in the week. Injuries happen. Weigh-ins happen. Some people miss weight. Some people, whatever. Things happen, and oftentimes picks get changed. So follow us on Instagram. Saturday morning, it gets posted. And by the way, we're part of a content creator challenge thing. There's around 16 to 20 content creators that are in this little competition that we have. And guess who's in first place? I'll give you a second. Who do you think's in first place? That's right, it's us, the 10-7 MMA, the people that are the freaking best at doing this. Over 80% on the month, 92% last week. Just subscribe and follow us on Instagram. We're trying to get to 2,000. Now, we can get into the quick picks. I already ruined it. It says it right there. Melissa Croden versus Tainara Lisboa. Let's get into the fight. All right, Melissa Croden, very physical, aggressive striker out of Canada. She's tough, has solid power for the division, but her defense and her overall experience are still kind of developing, right? She's taking on Tainara Lisboa, a very crisp Muay Thai striker, some real killer instinct, good finishing ability. She's so-so. My pick here is going to be Tainara Lisboa, round 2 TKO. The thing that's scaring me about this fight, Melissa Croden, new to the UFC. She's going to be the hometown fighter here, right? She's out of Canada. She's the first fight of the card where we know by doing this and having all the data that we have that a lot of weird shit happens in the first fight of the night. So, scary. I wouldn't part money. I wouldn't part ways with my money on this one. Give me Tainara Lisboa round 2. I just think she's better. Moving on. We've got Azamat Bukoyv, and he has taken on Yusri Belgarawi. Now, guys, this is, if you don't know Azamat Bukoyv, he's new to the UFC, right? But he's already just like impressed everybody. Came to us from the Contender Series, got a finish there, got a couple finishes in the UFC. I want to say he's Dagestani, but he's that dude that's constantly making jokes on Twitter, right? He's a great Twitter follow. And the dude's really goddamn talented. He's a grinder, strong wrestler, relentless pressure, great ground and pound, which we saw in a finish last time out. He's pretty goddamn good. He's taking on Yusri Belgarawi. Now, this is a training partner of Alex Pereira, right? He trains with Alex Pereira and Glover down at their gym there. His striking is super goddamn smooth. He's a kickboxer. He's really powerful. His takedown defense is sus. And just in general, he doesn't look like in MMA he has that killer instinct. Now, a lot of people are calling this Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 3. Azamat Bukoyv obviously representing, the Magomed Ankalaev side. He said this week is going to be no Chama. So we're going to see. I'm going Azamat Bukoyv. I don't think you can not pick him. I'm going to go Azamat Bukoyv round 2 TKO as well. I think the takedowns wear on Belgarawi, and eventually he gets a ground and pound finish. So Bukoyv round 2. We move on. Stephanie Luciano versus Ravinia Alivera. Not too much to say about this one. The odds kind of speak for themselves. Luciano's an aggressive brawler. She's a bit wild. She likes to push forward. She likes to throw massive shots. She can definitely be hit. She's very sloppy defensively. She's taken on Ravinia Alivera, who between the two is going to be the more technical striker, cleaner footwork, all that kind of stuff. She just doesn't control range well, guys. She's just not a good a fighter as Stephanie Luciano. To me, this one's painfully obvious. I'll go Stephanie Luciano by decision. I just don't think Ravinia Oliveira is made for this level. We move on. I got Kyle Prepik, and he is taking on Drew Dober. Now, Kyle Prepik, last time out, got a short notice debut in the UFC. He came in on a Canada card as well to face Benoit Saint Denis. Kind of got a participation trophy for showing up and not getting absolutely ran through, but he did get ran through. So I don't know where all that's coming from. He's just a durable regional scene veteran, and he's taking on a guy in Drew Dober, who we know is aging, who used to have one of the best chins in the game. That's been cracked as of late, and he's been off for a while now. So minus 440 tells you what you need to know. Is Drew Dober by knockout for sure. The only way Kyle Prepik wins this, because he's not talented enough to beat Drew Dober. The only way he wins this is if Drew Dober is actually over the hill and completely done. I don't believe that. So give me Drew Dober by KO. Now we get to a really interesting fight. Danny Barlo versus Jordane Santos. Guys, Danny Barlo, left hand of God, super athletic kid, southpaw sniper, real power, good striking. Look, he lost last time out, and that was really disappointing in a fight to Sam Patterson. But Sam Patterson's a goddamn good fighter. I think we learned that recently. It was very disappointing for Danny Barlo. The fight before that was disappointing for Danny Barlo. He's looked disappointing ever since the Contender Series. So I'm hoping he gets himself a rebound here because I'm a big fan and was a big believer in Danny Barlo. We'll see how he fares against Jordane Santos, a super gritty brawler, some good power, very reckless defensively as well, likes to get hit. I just don't think he has the speed. I don't think he has the distance management to deal with someone like Danny Barlo. So I will go Danny Barlo with a rebound performance, a knockout to kind of get the momentum back on his side. Give me left hand of God, Danny Barlo, round 2, left hook, KO. We move on. Bruno Silva, shout out Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. This is his boy, and he's taking on Hyun-Sung Park. Bruno Silva, a veteran who's very well-rounded, good jiu-jitsu, good striking as well, good power. He's had success against a lot of this like low to mid-tier in the UFC. And then when he fights the top guys, he loses and sometimes gets outclassed, but the guy is super goddamn gritty. He's always willing to make it interesting. He's always willing to go to war. He's taking on Hyun-Sung Park, a young Korean prospect, was undefeated until he had that main event earlier this year, which he was kind of thrown into last minute, if I'm not mistaken, against Tatsuro Taira, and he lost that fight. It is what it is, man. Tatsuro Taira is an absolute dog, and I still do believe in Hyun-Sung Park. I think this kid will be a prospect, will be a top 5 kind of guy in the flyweight division for years to come. Definitely a top 10 guy. So I'll go Hyun-Sung Park by decision. I think this is going to be a fun, scrappy, gritty, dirty fight with potential fight of the night written all over it. We move on. Charles Air Jordane, and he is taking on Dangerous Davy Grant. This is a banger of a fight, guys. Charles Jordane, very flashy, volume-heavy striker, good kicks, good cardio, inconsistent, but very dangerous when he finds his rhythm, right? And I feel like Charles Jordane, who is probably one of the most fun Instagram and Twitter follows, I don't know if he's on Twitter, but social media follows that you can have in the UFC. This guy's absolutely out of his mind nuts, and it's hilarious. I feel like he's rededicated himself to this game, to MMA, from what I've seen on his social media. Of course, his brother was just in the Contender Series, so it was nice seeing Charles there as I get an ESPN notification. Yeah, I like that for Charles. Davy Grant, on the other hand, right? Old, man. He's old. He's aging. He still throws heavy. He's got great submissions, sneaky sub game. He can be hittable, but he is, again, so goddamn gritty. And what I love for Davy Grant is I've been seeing him training with Marab. That's amazing, man. He's been one of Marab's main training partners, and he especially was for the Sandhagen fight. So I like that Davy's in there with the champ. You know, those are some of the best rounds you could get. Ultimately, I still got to stick with Charles Jordane, guys. I think he is. I know he's younger, he's faster, he's more dynamic. He's going to be in front of his home crowd. He's rejuvenated. He's reinvested. So I'll go Charles Jordane. I don't know that he gets a finish here. I'll say decision, but I could see a late KO. We move on. And here's a fight where I pretty much guarantee a goddamn finish. We've got Kyle Nelson, and he is taking on the steamroller, Matt Fravola. Kyle Nelson, guys, a rugged Canadian brawler, decent cardio, improved his grappling game as of late. Not that I think he'll need it in this fight, but he tends to fight close, even in his wins, right? He's one of those people that can never really pull away from his opponent. Obviously, if he's better than them, he's not able to do that. But even if they're better than him, he's not able to do that. But even the opponents that are worse than him, he tends to fight down to their level. He's taken on Matt the Steamroller Fravola, absolute chaos, right? This was a very tough, gritty guy that we saw enter the rankings and then take some pretty bad losses. He's been out a while after that brutal knockout by Fares Ziam. But he is explosive, man. He's got finishing potential all over him. And so long as his chin's not cracked, he's going to come in there with that kill or be killed kind of energy. And if it's chin for chin, I guess Kyle Nelson probably has the better chin at this point. But if it's skill for skill, I got to go steamroller. So give me Matt Fravola in what I think will be hectic, but I think he gets it'll be a hectic fight. I think he gets a round 2 KO. Give me Matt Fravola round 2, maybe round 1. I kind of like that prop if we're sprinkling. We move on. Cody Gibson versus Aoriqileng, guys. Cody Gibson, tall, rangy bantamweight with some solid veteran savvy. He's obviously been here for a while. Tough, has had some cardio issues in these really high-paced fights, which I mentioned because Aoriqileng is a guy whose cardio tends to fade, right? He brings the pressure. He brings the toughness. He's probably got the better striking credentials in this one. Not the most technical guy, another gritty dog-type fighter, but he is all gas, no brakes. So really it comes down to, does Aoriqileng get Cody Gibson out of there? Or does Gibson kind of survive that early onslaught, maybe 7-8 minutes, and then take over? And is that enough if he doesn't get a finish? I'm going to say Aoriqileng split decision. I think that plays out just like that. I think he takes round 1 very clearly. I think round 2 is going to be the swing round of this fight. I think Aoriqileng edges it on 2 judges' cards, and then Cody Gibson takes the third. Aoriqileng split decision is what I'm going with. We move on. And now we get to the dogs, right? I didn't mention it. I wanted to mention it. But I got a couple dogs on this fight. I know we went through favorite. The dogs might be barking, boys. Here we go. We've got Manon Fior, the former title challenger. She's taking on the hometown girl, Jazz Deissius. Manon Fior, very technical striker, guys. Excellent footwork, nasty distance control. Great power for this division as well. She's beaten some of the better women in this division. She tends to coast at times, right? And we've seen that in a couple of her fights. And last time out, a fight versus Valentina Shevchenko, pretty good account of herself, even though she lost that fight. She's taken on Jazz Deissius, a very durable, very physical, relentless grappler, okay? If she can close the distance and make this a clinch fight, a grappling fight, she is going to win it. The problem for Jasmine here, if she's not able to get Manon Fior in those clinches, get her down to the ground, she's going to lose this fight if it takes place on the feet, especially if it takes place on the feet at distance. I'm going to trust Jazz Deissius, guys. I know she's old, but she is on absolute fire. She is a nasty grappler. And if she beats Manon Fior, man, she's really goddamn close to a title fight. Canada loves her. This is the UFC's biggest Canadian star, believe it or not, even though we have Mike Malot fighting later on in this card. They love Jasmine, man. So I think the judges might get swayed in a close fight. Give me Jazz Deissius by decision. We move on to another dog that I absolutely love, and that's Chito Vera. He's taken on Aiemann Zahabi. Guys, Chito Vera here coming in as a plus 105 underdog, and I just don't get it. He's dangerous. He's battle-tested. He's been through all of these wars throughout his career. Yes, he starts slow, but he builds as we go on, and I know this is a 3-round fight, and maybe that's why he's a plus 105. Maybe it's not the best idea to drop a round or 2, right, and try to win, but great damage, great pressure, and normally very timely big shots from Chito Vera, taking on Aiemann Zahabi, a technically clean, low-output kind of guy. Yes, he has wrestling in his back pocket, and I think he'll try to use that because Chito's ground game has kind of been exposed by Corey Sandhagen, right? But I just don't know that Aiemann Zahabi is going to be able to do that to him. I think the majority of this fight takes place on the feet. Chito lands the bigger shots. I don't see why the UFC, if there is any kind of corrupt BS going on, why they would want Aiemann Zahabi to get the decision. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think Chito Vera is the better fighter. I think he is going to hurt Aiemann Zahabi. I talked to Chito when he was in Chicago at 319. We had like a nice little 10-minute conversation by the elevator. And he was like, man, I have to win this fight. Like, I have no choice but to win this fight. And I know that that's what every fighter says, Regardless, though, I believe Cheeto, man. I just think he's better than Amin Zahabi. I think the odds are out of whack here. I locked this in at plus 110, and I'm happy I did. Give me Cheeto Vera. I think he breaks Amin Zahabi and gets himself a round 3 TKO. We move on to two of the most annoying, frustrating guys to pick, and that's Kevin Holland taking on Mike Malot. Kevin Holland, there's not too much to say. He's chaotic. He has that sniper power. His ground game's a little underrated. But at the same time, how can you ever feel comfortable picking Kevin Holland? Half the time, this guy shows up for a goddamn paycheck, and he's willing to get out of there with just one check. He doesn't care about the winning check. He's taking on Mike Malot, who we never get to see out of Canada anymore. He's the top Canadian prospect, right? Supposedly, we saw him lose to Neil Magny, which was very goddamn embarrassing for him. He's got some clean technique. He's got some clean pop, but there's a lot of holes in his game. Is he going to be able to out-wrestle Kevin Holland and hold Kevin Holland down? I don't think so. And at the same time, is Kevin Holland going to show up to win, or does he not really give a shit? Very, very tough fight to pick. I'm going to say Kevin Holland round 2 TKO late, assuming that the best version of Kevin Holland shows up. Guys, please don't bet this. Please don't hold me to this. Don't hold anyone to this. Absolute trash co-main event. Two guys that are unreliable. We move on to the most interesting fight of the night, obviously, and that's the main event, Reiner de Ridder. And he's taking on Brendan Allen. 5 rounds, guys. Reiner de Ridder, absolutely elite jiu-jitsu practitioner, world-class submission skills. If he gets on top, he drowns his opponents. Now, what we've seen in the UFC is some good striking, a lot of clinch work, that knee where he knocked out Bo Nickel. I was at that fight pretty close to the cage, and it was absolutely filthy, guys. You could hear that echo throughout the arena. His striking is the worst part of his game, but it seems to be improving, and he is on an absolute tear. He's taking on Brendan Allen, very well-rounded. His confidence kind of throws me off, though, right? Brendan Allen had that run. He was super confident. He was beating everybody. Then all of a sudden, he took a couple losses, and it was just like, where did all that go, right? It just disappeared from him. Then last time out, he beats Vettori in kind of a weird fight. Nothing interesting happened there. So where's his confidence at? Brendan Allen kind of comes off as like a head case to me, right? So I don't love picking him, but he is a grappler. I don't know that his grappling is better than RDR's, and I don't think he has the power to do anything to RDR on the feet. I think Reiner de Ridder eventually breaks Brendan Allen, and we see that come out of him again in the 3rd round. So give me RDR, round 3, rear naked choke, or you know what? Arm triangle. Takes Brendan Allen down, beats his ass. He has him turning, giving up his back, coming back to the stomach, doing all that shit. Arm triangle gets locked up. RDR, arm triangle, and that is that, guys. Next week, okay? Next week, we get the pay-per-view, UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi. Cyril Gane challenging Tom Aspinall for his title. We also have Mackenzie Dern taking on Verna Janjanova. By the way, in the last 5 years, I've gotten 2 women's title fights wrong. So you might want to stick around for that. And then I'll let you guys know one more thing. Next week, we're going to be putting out a ton of content. Me and DS, obviously, doing the breakdown, doing the quick picks, doing the quickie. We are going to go live with Harry from Proshmo Bets. And, of course, the ever-famous Dana Black from Instagram. Shout out those 2 guys. It's going to be fun as hell next week. Guys, I'm excited. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. It would mean the world to us. We are on fire now, and we are trying to get to 2,000 before the year ends. There's not much time left, so hook your boys up with that. And then, again, follow us on Instagram at D107MMA. That's where the official picks get posted. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.